19% of goals scored in Premier League so far this season have come from corners, plus the long throws are working and they are here to stay. Sunderland scoring from a long throw in against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and Brentford making sure Jamie Carragher's head is likely to explode anytime soon as they got an early lead against Liverpool via a long throw as well. But ladies and gentlemen, can we just take a second to appreciate this? The top four of the Premier League. We've got Bournemouth in second and we've got Sunderland in fourth. And yes, I know it's only 9 games played. Who cares? Well, you might, but I'll tell you who doesn't care. Bournemouth fans, Sunderland fans, and so they shouldn't, especially Sunderland fans. They got promoted. They are flying. What a start to the season by both of them. I am loving it. Bournemouth, Sunderland, I'm rooting for you. Keep it up. Now I'm going to ignore the bottom 2 of the Premier League. I don't like that. I'm not even going to pop it up on the screen. I'm in charge. I'm going to show you the top 4, but I ain't showing you the bottom 2 of the Premier League. Welcome to the Tartan YouTube channel. This is my Premier League weekend review where we have a little discussion around all the big talking points from around the grounds. I'm going to start with that win because whilst Bournemouth and Sunderland, I can give them plaudits by showing you the top 4, Brentford are doing really well under Keith Andrews. It's all relative. It's all looking at what they're doing, what they're achieving compared to expectation. And they've just beaten a Liverpool side. And yes, I know Liverpool aren't playing well at the minute, but they had that win in the Champions League against Frankfurt. So there was a little bit of an uplift, a little bit of momentum going into this game. And Brentford won, and they deserved to win as well. Long throw came in, bang, a goal. But what I want to talk about is the penalty awarded to Brentford. I think Liverpool just get unlucky. They get a bit unlucky in the first half when Gakpo goes down. It might have been a bit soft. I thought there was more contact than the pundits were making on. They were making on as if there was barely any time. I thought there was a decent bit of contact there, but it's one of them. It doesn't get given, so VAR is not getting involved. I like it. The threshold does seem a little bit higher for VAR interfering this season. Something they told us would occur, and I feel like sometimes that is the case, which is good news. But then the penalty that gets awarded, and I think Liverpool get unlucky, and I think the referee gets unlucky. Because does Van Dijk make contact with Utara? Yes, I think he does. No one's denying his contact. It's soft, it's flicking the bottom of his boot. He's not leathering him or anything like that. It's just one of those coming togethers. And if it happened, right inside the box, I don't think the referee gives it. I think he gives it because he thinks it's outside the box. So he's given a free kick and he's not given a penalty. And for that reason, I think he gives it. But then this is when VAR looks at it and it came through that because it's factual, was it in the box or was it not in the box, or was it on the line rather, and that would count. And they decided yes, therefore it's a penalty, so it gets upgraded because the referee's given a foul. So they weren't checking to see if it was a foul, they were checking to see if it was a penalty or a free kick. But so for that reason, I think the referee gets a bit unlucky because I'm not sure he'd give it as a pen. He thought he was getting a free kick and he ended up having to give a penalty because it was deemed to be on the line. But this is where I think I'm seeing something different to a lot of people. I think I need my eyes tested. I'm not convinced it was on the line. I'm not convinced the foul is actually on the line. I think the foul, I think the contact actually takes place over the line and therefore a free kick was correct. Yes, Van Dijk's foot lands on the line, but I don't think that's where he kicks him. Van Dijk extends his leg, makes contact, and then his leg retreats. Just like a normal leg action. And I think his foot lands on the line. So when you look at it from behind, it does look like it's on the line. But when you look at the angle outside the box, I actually think the contact's taken outside the box. So I'm a bit confused as to why. And I appreciate it's supposed to be black or white, but just say to the referee, go check the monitor. Do you think it's on the line or do you think it's a free kick? Which one? I still feel like the referee should be in charge of that decision. Nevertheless, a great win for Brentford. Fully deserved it. Damsgaard was absolutely fantastic. Again, a very underrated player. Henderson was good. Great goal by Shada. Thiago got his penalty as well. Utara scored off the front 3 for Brentford, all scored. Fantastic goal by Salah. I've been waiting all season for him to score. Bang! Great goal. Means nothing in the grand scheme of things. So yes, an underwhelming Liverpool at the moment. But let's not take anything away from Brentford here. A fantastic win. And it was also a fantastic win for Manchester United at Old Trafford. I think that's a pen. That one on Bournemouth, the more I see it, right, De Coupier sort of going one way and Bournemouth cuts back and says, oh, there's a slight nick on the ball, therefore it's not a penalty. I definitely need my eyes tested because I'm not even convinced there's a bit of contact. But even if there is, I don't know. I mean, I never thought I'd be sat here sticking up for Man U or Liverpool and then Man U in a video. I never thought I'd be doing that. But that's a penalty for me. It didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. We had a great free kick by Danny Welbeck. And when Man U have Cunha and Mbeumo, you've got two players, I call it the X Factor, two players capable of doing something spectacular individually. They don't rely on tactics. They don't rely on their teammates. Yes, they need them. And Mbeumo's ball from Sesko to make it 3 was good. That's important. But you've seen Mbeumo's finish, you've seen Cunha's goal. They're capable of just scoring like that. They have two brilliant number 10s. Arguably, they've got 3 brilliant number... Actually, there's no arguably. They've got 3 fantastic number 10s at that club. Just that Bruno Fernandes is playing deeper in midfield. But when you've got players like that, you'll do all right. It's a case of can you then build on that and go do well. And it'll be disappointing for Brighton because I think they started quite brightly. Bang, Cunha scored 2-0 down. And they gave themselves a late rally and got back into it, but Mbeumo killed it. Make no mistake about it, these wins are big for Ruben Amorim. It just takes the pressure off a little bit. I feel like for the last 2-3 weeks there hasn't been much media noise around him, around his job. It's been focused on Liverpool, it's been focused on onslaught. It's weirdly been focused on Arsenal's set pieces. I still don't get it. I still see criticism over the last 24 hours or so about how Arsenal scored from a set piece again, as if it's like a bad thing. I just don't understand. I don't subscribe to it. Oh my God, I'm defending Liverpool, Man U, now Arsenal. What's going on? I feel like I should just delete this review, not post it. Talk about Bournemouth and Sunderland and just leave it. Shall we do that? But a great win for Man U. I'm going to call it a good win, Man U. Let's talk about Bournemouth now. Beating Nottingham Forest 2-0. Just for transparency, as always, I watched the Brentford game, I watched the Man U game, and I watched the Bournemouth game. This is the one I chose to watch because I thought it would be entertaining. I was getting a bit of an idea of Forest under Dyche. I watched them beat Porto on Thursday. I liked what I seen from Forest, so let's see what you can do against Bournemouth, a difficult task. And Forest were crap. They were absolutely crap. Now, you can discard this as a Nottingham Forest fan. Dyche hasn't even been there a week. Very quick turnaround. He's gone in, quick game against Porto, won it. Quick turnaround again. Bournemouth away, a very difficult fixture. So I think it's easy to write this one off as a Nottingham Forest fan. But the reality was their players were pretty poor from front to back, from left to right. Jesus was poor up front. Gibbs White, Elliot Anderson, they're poor. They're big players. Did not turn up for this one. But for Bournemouth, it's an important win. Because at certain points of the season, you've got to adjust the needle. You've got to adjust what your ambitions are. And Bournemouth have got to be having, realistic conversations saying we could get European football here. Because they can. They've got a bloody good club. They've got a bloody good squad, good players, good manager. And yes, there's a long way to go and they're going to have to do really well. But they didn't miss out on it by much last season. They didn't miss out on it. But if they can build on that this season, finishing top 6, it doesn't feel unrealistic or anything silly at this point in time. So games like this will be a big test for Bournemouth. Can you get 3 points at home against Nottingham Forest? Can you get 3 points at home against Brighton, for example? Those are the games that if you can then get a draw away from home as well, you might just get European football this season, which would be a tremendous achievement. Freak goal from Tavernier, scoring from a corner. It's just poor goalkeeping from Sells. Too weak. Yes, there's a tiny little bit of contact by Tyler Adams. It's nothing for me. Good decision by the referee not to blow up. Again, last season, I feel like they would have peeped up for that. The goalkeepers usually get a lot of protection, too much protection. I think they've cut down on that. It's not just this game, but there's other games in Premier League as well. I feel like goalkeepers are looking for free kicks. The ref ain't having it anymore. The referees are telling them to get up and get on with things. I watched Aston Villa against someone. Can't remember what game it was. Emi Martinez. Did they play Spurs recently, Villa? Yeah, they did last weekend. It was Van de Ven. Sort of touched him. Martinez flung himself to the deck. I feel like last season, free kick Aston Villa. But this season, the referee's just looking at Martinez lying on the deck while the game's going, saying, get up, you're diving. Good, I like it. Great goal by Krupi to make it 2-0. Milenkovic should be doing better. Like I said, Forest can write this one off, but they need to see an improvement soon. They ain't scoring too many goals, are they, Nottingham Forest? But a fantastic win by Bournemouth. All right, we're going to have to discuss it, aren't we? Leeds United 2, West Ham United 1. I didn't see this game live. I've watched it because it's my job. So I watched it last night, Sunday night instead. When the lineup came out, I wasn't happy. I was fuming. To see us get beat wasn't surprising. Watched the game. And one thing I will say, well done Leeds United. I paused there because I was just thinking about how to word it. Well done Leeds United, because naturally I'm going to talk about how crap West Ham were. But it's going to come across like I'm saying like we only lost because we were crap. That is not the case. We lost because we were crap, and Leeds took advantage of it. But let's make no mistake about this. This was a massive, massive game for both teams. 6-pointer. I'm not afraid to label a game. 9th game of the season. I'm not afraid to label it as 6-pointer because I strongly believe it was. Just like Wolves Burnley was a 6-pointer as well. Leeds came out on top. Addison got the goal. He was there. He was alive. He was not ball watching. He reacted and got the goal. Joe Rodon scored. Another set piece conceded by West Ham. And then Leeds kept us at arm's length. We had plenty of the ball in the second half, but we didn't test them. We didn't test Perry at all. A very comfortable evening for Leeds. We scored a consolation goal late on. It was not enough, and it wouldn't have been deserved either. We came away from that one. But this was a significant win for Leeds United because you're starting to feel like there's gaps opening up in the table a little bit. Wolves are going to feel cut adrift. What are they, 6 points behind Fulham now, who are just outside the bottom 3? It's not good. It's not good. Big win Leeds, big loss for West Ham. Talking about Fulham, I watched the Newcastle game as well. The reason I chose that one is because we play Newcastle next weekend, so I wanted to have a look at Newcastle United to see what they were doing ahead of playing us next weekend. And I think Newcastle were the better team. Although it took them until the very last minute to grab that winner, I feel like they missed a couple of good opportunities, some at 1-0 up, some at 1-1. Murphy should have got a second goal. Bruno missed an absolute sitter of a header before scoring that last minute winner. But Fulham, I've mentioned this in a couple of videos. If you're a Fulham fan, I don't have many Fulham subscribers, but if you are a Fulham fan, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know in the comments below, please. Because I think for the first few games of the season, you could put down to bad decisions going against you. And I think that's fair. I was one of those saying that. Not anymore, though. I'm not sure there was any bad decisions going against you in this one. Aston Villa, I'm not sure there was any. I can't recall any bad decisions. This was just poor defending by Bassey, losing the ball. Great finish by Murphy. You got your goal through Lukic, and then you conceded late on. But your defence was just at 6s and 7s. Last minute of the game. To get a point away to Newcastle would be a good point. Just switched off. Big win for Newcastle. So I think they need to start doing a bit of an Aston Villa. Start plugging some wins back to back. Got a good fixture for the next weekend, haven't they? Important win for Eddie Howe's side. But Fulham, how many games till we have a conversation? Fergie used to say 10 games. Well, we're 1 match week away from that. I'm going with 11. The next international break is where I want to start having serious conversations, because people will say it's too early. But is it too early to say that Arsenal look like firm title favourites? I don't think so. Is it too early to say that Sunderland look like they're going to be safe? I don't think so. So it's not then. So we agree it's not too early. Is it too early to decide which 3 teams are going down? Absolutely. But at some point we've got to have conversations around who could be doing worse than expected, as well as those that we might do better than we expected. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2. Fantastic result for Sunderland. I was buzzing when I seen this one come through. When I seen that they'd scored late on, and when I watched the game, I've only seen the highlights of this one. From now on, I've not seen any of the matches except Everton Spurs. So I've only seen the highlights at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea took the lead early on through Garnacho. Sunderland got the equaliser. Long throw. But that winner that they got right at the end there from Tabley. What is Shalabad doing? Honestly, the more I watch it, the worse it gets. Long ball over the top. Brian Bobby does really well to sort of bring it down, hold off tossing. And Shalabad stood 2 yards away just watching. Either double up, go over and help your centre-back. You should be able to get your eyes up and have a look. Get your head up and see what's arriving. And had he done that immediately, he would have known, we've got a few seconds. We've got time to double up here. You block off his goal, I block off the box. So he's only heading in one direction, that's towards the touchline, right? But he doesn't. He decides to stand still. At that point, you've made a decision not to double up. So by default, you've made your decision to cover the box. He doesn't even do that. He just stands there. He just stands and watches. I'll never get my head round it. I'll never understand what he was doing. Don't get me wrong. The layoff was good. The finish was excellent. But that defending is absolute stinking. Now, whilst I've only seen the highlights, I will always label players like Granit Xhaka as one of those players that you don't notice when you watch Match of the Day. You need to watch them play 90 minutes because of what they bring to the team. You don't often see them in the final third doing stuff. Their main action area is the middle of the pitch. The linking the play together. They're getting involved in the build-up. You get my point. Even in the highlights, it looked like Xhaka was absolutely tearing Chelsea apart just himself. I said it in the summer, one of my favourite, if not my favourite signing of the summer in the Premier League, full stop. And I feel like every week goes by, I'm just getting a little bit more justified in that way of thinking. So I'll get a lot wrong. We all do. We're football fans. But now and again, I'll get something right. Believe you me, I'm going to remind you now and again when I get it right because, rare. I enjoy it. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Set piece again. Yawn. Boring. No, that's just a joke. That part's a joke. Honestly, I just don't get it. I've seen a league table. I genuinely kid you not. I think it was Sky Sports. It was like one of the mainstream media outlets that put it up, whether it was the BBC or Sky. And I'm not even talking Talk Sport, which try to rage bait you, right? It's the type of things Talk Sport would do to trigger the Arsenal fan base to get them ringing in and stuff. It wasn't even them. It was someone else. It was something like Sky Sports, right? Put up a league table. Here's how the table would look if set pieces didn't count. Since when's that a thing? Since when have you ever come up with that? You've never done it. I just don't get it. Arsenal are playing teams that defend. Now, I don't know if Crystal Palace did that. I didn't see the game. I seen the highlights. Palace posed a threat. But Arsenal are coming. They've conceded one shot on target in October. An entire month they've conceded one shot on target. One. And if you watch it, Nketiah's next to David Raya by that much, and it flicks off his head into his gloves. The goalkeeping gloves. In fact, I've got a pair of goalkeeping gloves here. The goalkeeping gloves are here. The ball hits him in the head and hits the gloves. That was a shot on target. I just don't get it. I just don't. Do you know what it is? Do you know what? I do get it. Do you know what it is? This Arsenal team are so bloody good that the only thing they can find fault in is they keep scoring from set pieces. How good must you be when that is considered to be the thing to criticise them for? But this is an important win for Arsenal. Not just because Liverpool and Manchester City lost in the same weekend, but Palace are an informed team. I know they got beaten in the Conference League, but Palace are a bloody good team. They've beaten Liverpool already this season. And they'll beat good teams between now and the end of the season as well. This is the type of game Arsenal would usually draw. In seasons gone by, this game finishes 1-1, 0-0, maybe Palace win. And it's not Palace per se, it's that team that are playing well, they're hard to beat. This is usually where Arsenal would come unstuck, and this would be the difference between Arsenal and Man City or Arsenal and Liverpool. Well, actually, it is still this season difference. It's just that it's swung in Arsenal's favour. And for some reason, people are moaning. And when I say people, I mean the mainstream media, not you and I, not fans. The mainstream media are moaning, the score from set pieces. Anyway, Aston Villa 1, Man City 0. They love beating City at Villa Park, don't they? Matty Cash, again, another banger from outside the box. I've seen a lot made up of how, did Lucadine, Nunes put it out for a corner, and Lucadine, you haven't seen it, there's like a loose ball, goes over the top, Nunes is running back towards his own goal, Cash is running, Lucadine's overtaking him, trying to sweep his leg round and cross it right. Nunes gets there first and puts it out for a corner, but in doing so, Lucadine hits Nunes. So obviously, the Man City were saying, well, where's the free kick? Gives the corner, and as a result of that corner, Aston Villa score. It's a difficult one. I can see the arguments, but how often do you see someone take a shot and a defender clatters him straight afterwards and nothing's given? It's just accepted, isn't it? It's accepted that once you've had your shot, not quite anything goes, but that defender was trying to make a block or put you off or anything. He's almost allowed to like slide tackle you to some extent because you've had your shot. I feel like it's one of them. And here's the thing. Nunes wasn't getting the ball. Nunes booted it out, right? So is it a foul? I mean, technically, but he's not in control of the ball or anything like that. And it's one of them. This is where the referee now needs to be consistent. Do not... Like, you've got to make... If you're going to make that decision then, you've got to keep on making it. Next week, the week after, you've got to stick with that. Because this is the problem, I think. Certainly my frustration is decisions like that. It's a big call, and I kind of like it, but it's a lack of consistency. In the next game, from the same referee, that'll happen, and you'll go, free kick to the defending team. We need consistency. And if that's how you're going to apply the laws of football, great. But can all the referees use the same rule book for all the matches? That would be beneficial. Good win for Aston Villa, though. They were in good form, got beat in the Europa League, bounced back with a win. Important. They're moving up the league table now, and they can start looking up, thinking, right, can we get European football again? I think a few weeks ago the answer would be no, because they couldn't bloody score a goal. But now, actually, they are one of the informed teams in the Premier League. Wolves 2, Burnley 3. Oh, my goodness. I thought my club was bad. My team was bad. There's one worse. Somehow there's a team worse than us in Wolves. I've seen all the clips from after the game, and I might do a video in the next few days about Wolves, about what's going on. Why is it such a mess at Wolves? Because it is both of those things, isn't it? It is absolutely horrendous. Larson fronting up fans, Pereira, Jose sat in the car park after. But in terms of the game, great goal. That first goal by Fleming, by the way. That's an outstanding finish. Side-footed volley from outside the box. Now, it looks crap because Sam Johnson's miles out his goal. Ball goes over the top by Hartman. He's running back. And Fleming just passes it into the opposite corner. And Johnson's out of the picture. I don't care. I think that's a bloody good goal by Fleming. Made it 2-0. He scored again. Hartman setting up again. And then Wolves got back into it. And here's the thing, isn't it? That penalty that Burnley conceded, the first one with Josh Cullen kicking the boot of the Wolves player. You look at Liverpool and you think, well, there's a little bit of similarity here between this one. So at least there is some consistency. Good pen. Munetsi scored to make it 2-0 before half-time. Now, I only seen the highlights of this match, but it certainly made on that Wolves were battering Burnley in the second half until the very last second of the game. Good goal by Burnley. But that save in the very last second, Dubravka, outstanding. I think it's Bueno that hits it. It's behind him. The ball is behind him. He gets his hand behind him and gets it on top of the ball as well. He doesn't even parry it out or nothing. Stops it. Outstanding. That is possibly save of the season. You're going to do well to beat that one. That save was incredible. Massive win for Burnley. Huge win. I wonder if this is maybe the first time they've got a little bit of belief. Actually, maybe we can do this. If we can finish above Wolves and West Ham, we just need to finish above one more team and we can get out of this. big win. They had to win. So did Wolves. Just a mess of a football club right now. And finishing up with Everton 0, Spurs 3. I watched this game. 2 goals for Spurs from corners with Van der Ben, getting both of them. Man and match though, easily Vicario, outstanding. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. A couple of top saves from him down the other end. 1 win in 7 for Everton under David Moyes now, so it's not great, but they'll be okay. Everton will be fine. They've got some good players there. Grealish and Dye, Dewsbury Hall. They're just lacking a striker. If Beto was half decent, now saying that, he almost scored an overhead kick, but I do feel it would be glossing over his deficiency as a Premier League player. He's just not good enough to be the starting striker at a Premier League club. Been expecting to see more of Barry. I still don't know why he's not getting a game, but then again, he comes on. He doesn't really look great himself, does he? A disappointing result and performance from Everton. An important one from Tottenham, though, because I feel like tension was starting to creep up on Thomas Frank a little bit, like the boring tag. I am one of those that say Spurs have been boring under Thomas Frank. But they've just gone a few games without really getting a good result. Drawn 0-0 in Champions League. They needed to win that game. It feels like maybe one of those victories that could be quite important to kickstart the season a little bit, although there's only a couple of games and there's another international break. But I think this is the type of game that if you want, top 5-6 football, you're going to need to win games like this if you're Spurs. And they did. So well done. Well, actually, well done-ish, I suppose. Well done, Thomas Frank. There you go. That's how I'll label it up. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me, Matt. That's my quick thoughts on every game around the Premier League this weekend. Well done, Bournemouth, Brentford and Sunderland. Absolutely love it. And West Ham, for God's sake. And well done, Leeds. I've missed them out there. Well done, Leeds United as well. It's hard to not come across spiteful, but it's an important and big victory for them. The only problem is it's puts us closer to the Championship than we were prior to kickoff at Ellen Road as well. A bad weekend to be a West Ham fan. Not just getting beat, but then watching Brentford win. Burnley picked up 3 points. Is that a good result or not? I don't even know. It's difficult. Difficult time to be a West Ham fan at the minute. But thank you very much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. And I'll catch you in a bit.